Hey everybody, how you doing? Yeah, same. Welcome to the PHLY Flyers Postgame Show presented by Bet365, and of course our entire Flyers opening week brought to you by our friends at Crooked T. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me here in the Xfinity Mobile studio, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. Charlie O'Connor will join us live from Sunrise in just a little bit. Kelly, how are you? Because I need to pick me up.
You know, it's good to get a reminder every now and again that sports are bad.
It's important to remember that
They're not good.
the point of sports is not to enjoy yourself. It is to be sad in a group. And thank you all for joining us here to be sad in a group. Of course, the Flyers fall 2-1 on opening night to the Florida Panthers. That's not insane. That's really not anything to be sad about. We're going to talk about some of the good and some of the bad that we saw tonight. But the Phillies season also comes to an end in dramatic and heartbreaking fashion. And to all of you out there who are joining us for this, even though you just watched that, thank you very much.
Yeah,
appreciate it. All right, hockey. Got to get in hockey mode here. Got to turn the page. And what we just saw, Kelly, I thought was a fairly competitive game, a game in which the Flyers took far too many penalties and weren't able to muster enough offense. But overall, I am not discouraged by everything I saw.
Yeah, I mean, you know, overall, first game of the season, new coach, new system, some new lines. On the road against the defending champs. Could have been worse. For sure.
Taking 5 penalties, one, of course, the michkov penalty early, gets cut off 16 seconds in, but giving them 4.5 power plays, that's just not going to be enough time to create enough offense for this Flyers team. That said, I want to talk about the good that we saw to start things off, because I need it. And the good that I saw started between the pipes with Dan Vladar, stopped all 13 shots he saw in the first period. 11 out of 12 in the second. The one he allows, it's like a transition goal on the power play. The transition rush defense was kind of like maybe my biggest question mark coming out of the preseason. They didn't cover up well and just a few too many bodies. Of course, that's going to happen when you're down a man, but giving up that sort of chance on the power play, not ideal. They score there, and then in the third, they get the 2-1 goal on, I guess it was a moving screen. I think the broadcast, they blame Noah Juleson, but Dan Vladar overall pretty damn solid in his Flyers debut.
I have to say, he made a lot of really big saves. I think this game could have easily been 3-1 or 4-1. He did something that I don't think we could really depend on any of the Flyers goaltenders to do last season, and that was make the saves that he needed to make. He made the ones that he should have made. Like the first goal, like that was a pretty sick pass by Rodriguez to Lindell. And again, on the power play, the Flyers not really doing a great job of killing that penalty. Can't really put that one on him. The second one, like you said, was whatever. But
kind of lucky, moving screen and a perfectly don't want to take anything away from Brad Marchand. Dude's great, has been great for like 2 decades, continues to be, and put a perfectly placed shot into the corner. And it seems like Vladar just lost it through what was a little bit of traffic.
For the most part, like if we had seen that kind of performance from the goaltending last year, I would have been extremely satisfied with it.
Overall, Dan Vladar stops 32 of 34, gives up the 2, 1 at even, 1 on the power play, a .941 save percentage in just under 59 minutes of work for Vladar. I don't know how many games we even got a 900, let alone a .941 save percentage. I will absolutely take this, and it does seem as if this team, I guess my first note of the Rick Tocchet era is this Flyers team is going to surrender more shots, but perhaps more of a lower quality and have rebound control, just with defensemen kind of playing more of a less shot blocking mentality, more of a let's get the rebound the hell out of there. Let's make sure no one gets free to pop home, a cheap one, things like that. I would say that was a positive tonight. What we got out of Dan Vladar and the overall defensive strategy compared to what we've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah, it was actually something that Bush mentioned several times during the broadcast, that a lot of times, and we actually talked about this, I feel like, a lot last year. Sometimes goaltenders don't want you blocking every shot, especially the low quality shots from the outside. They want to see them. They want to make the save. Maybe by allowing those kind of, like you said, those low quality chances to get through to the goaltender, maybe the goaltenders will be better. Like maybe we'll see a similar thing from Sam Ersson when he gets into a game. I don't know. But I would agree that the idea of, yeah, it's more shots, but they're not great shots. And you're letting your goalie see it. You're trusting your goaltender to make the stop. And tonight that went fairly well, because I don't really think that this wasn't a game that they lost because of the goals scored on them. It was a game they lost because they could not make offense happen to save their lives.
They really could not. But I do want to credit Dan Vladar and what Bush was saying. I do think, like you brought up, very important. Like, we have seen extraordinarily low save percentages around Christmas last year. Charlie's writing an article that's, hey, if this keeps up, it's the worst save percentage by any team since like 83. Like Pelle Lindbergh wouldn't win with these sorts of numbers. The team, it was the same. Obviously, the goalies weren't doing their part. But I will say there is something to the confidence factor of feeling the puck, feeling involved, knowing where the shot is coming from, and just the goalies know what the save percentage is. If they've only seen 3 and 1 goes in, they're not feeling good. If they've seen 10 or 13, like Vladar did in the first, he stopped them all. That might just give him a little bit of confidence to be more aggressive, to be just a little bigger in his net, know that he can stop the puck. And maybe this is something, obviously doesn't pay off tonight. They only scored the 1 goal and weren't threatening for a lot of the game. But maybe this is something that could pay off for the goaltenders and the team as a whole down the line.
I really hope so. And I am interested to see what Ersson looks like, because I don't think we were expecting a lot from Dan Vladar. I don't think we were expecting him to be a .940 goaltender for the length.
No.
That would be funny. So yeah, maybe this strategy is going to improve the goaltending as a whole. I certainly hope so, because 82 games of this goaltending will be a lot more bearable than what we had to sit through last year.
If nothing else, it'll simply be a lot easier to watch. And what Vladar did, I think, more than anything, he looked like he knew what he was doing, which I realize is an extremely low bar, but it is not one that at least 2 of the 3 goalies last year cleared on a regular basis.
That is correct.
I think Sam often knew what he looked like he knew what he was doing, but just didn't stop enough pucks. But ultimately, the other 2 guys often just kind of looked like dudes playing the position for the first time. And
right.
That's not going to lead to a ton of victories. It didn't lead to a victory tonight, but I will say if Vladar plays about this well, we can look forward to much more, coming in to postgame excited than we did last year. And I am interested to see how it goes now against Carolina, a team that, especially as the league has changed over the last year or two, are an outlier. They fire from everywhere. They take a lot of low percentage shots. They take shots from all over the place. Will the Flyers be as willing to let as many through? And will Sam Ersson be up to stopping as many of the, not exactly an expected goal shots that Carolina often takes?
Yeah, and I gotta say, coming in pregame, all we talked about was the defense, right? We talked about the defense and how the offense of this team looks pretty good. We've talked about it in regular shows that, if you look at just the forward lines, the team's not looking that bad. And it's kind of I know it's the Florida Panthers, but it's kind of a little bit surprising to me that the offense was so dead. And I am interested to see, obviously Carolina is a very good team. But I don't think they're as good as the Panthers. So Yeah, this game on Saturday is going to be a little interesting, I think, just this early.
Definitely. And you see the Flyers only muster the 20 shots. They had 9 through 35 minutes of the game.
It's not good.
And that's something I'm looking forward to asking Charlie, like, how much of this was Flyers kind of on their heels? They spent a lot of time killing penalties, weren't able to really get anything going. Not a lot of chemistry on the lines outside of the one that's together from last season, the Cates line. We'll get to them. And how much was, hey man, you see every time the Flyers had the puck up high and looked like they might do something dangerous by moving it into the slot, and then Florida just swarmed. How much of it is just like, yeah, we're not ready to score 4 goals a game on the Florida Panthers? Like, I think there was a little bit of both going on there. But my very first impression of this game, Dan Vladar, I give you a passing grade for your Flyers debut.
Everyone else should give a thumbs up as well.
Yeah, speaking of thumbs up, hit the like button.
Yeah,
hit that freaking like button. Give us the likes. You are here with us on a night in which the Eagles are playing. The Phillies season just came to a tragic end. We very much appreciate your patronage, but we're going to ask you for a little something more, and that little something more, it's hitting that freaking like button. It'll make me feel great about myself. All right, another positive I thought came out of tonight was a carryover from last year. Foerster-Cates-Brink, they are still the best trio up front by far.
At what point do we just start calling this our top line? Like,
right now you have to.
They're like, right. But like you said, it's carrying over from last year. Like, they are by far the most consistent and reliable and, like, honestly threatening line that this team has, which is weird considering the players that we have on the other lines. And I don't know if it's the combinations of those other lines or if it's the guys themselves, but yeah, that they're like, Noah Cates tonight looked outstanding. He looked really good.
You know, our old boss Vince, who was at one point a major Noah Cates hater, and then turned into the biggest Cates fan in the world, texted me after the goal going, he's the best Flyer. And I went, maybe ever.
Yeah. I can't argue with it right now.
Just a little look at what this line did. Cates, 3 shots on goal. He scores the Flyers' lone goal. Tyson Foerster, 2 shots on goal, so we cash at least that over 1.5 shots. So we're 1 for 2 to start the season. But the only other player on the team with more than 1 shot on goal, Matvei Michkov. That line continues to look really good. They're a plus in the game. Everyone else an even or a minus. Really, really impressive stuff. Speaking of impressive stuff, ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined by Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, coming to us live from Sunrise, Florida. After a let's just talk about the Flyers right now, Charlie, because I don't know if I have anything else in me. How was your how was it? First and foremost, how was game 1? You're back, you're on the road, you're covering the team again. How you feeling?
Look, I'm happy that hockey's back. I'm happy that we're watching real hockey and not preseason hockey, which I know it was only 2 weeks, but it felt like a month. It just felt like it was never going to end. It was nice to be able to watch a hockey game with actual stakes. And it was nice that the Flyers did not embarrass themselves. Look, they didn't win this game, but I don't think anybody would say that they, stumbled, they fell all over themselves. They showed themselves well. And I know Florida is not as strong as they would be if they had Tkachuk and they had Barkov in the lineup. But this is still a really good hockey team. Mm-hmm. And look, there were a lot of things the Flyers could have done better, but they hung in there. I thought at 5-on-5, they were pretty strong overall. But in the end, they needed more offense. They needed offense from someone other than the Cates line. And they needed to be more disciplined. And that's what buried them. But this was a winnable game. And while it's disappointing they lost a winnable game, it's also impressive that it was a winnable game against the Florida Panthers on the road.
Absolutely. The fact that they stayed in it, the fact that they kept it close. Obviously, this is professional sports. Moral victories are for losers. But I think you said they acquitted themselves well in this one. I don't think it was it was 2-1, but it should have been 8-1, and they were just lucky. It wasn't that. I thought they played overall pretty well. So game one, there's still plenty of work to be done. 81 more of these to go. We will learn lots and lots about this Rick Tocchet squad over the next few weeks and months. But did you notice any major differences between the way the team played, just stylistically, strategically, against last year's squad or the previous few years?
Yeah, I thought the biggest stylistic difference I noticed was their tactics in the defensive zone. It's very clear that they are now transitioning more to we'll give you shots from the outside, we'll give you shots from the perimeter, and we're not going to try to block every single shot either. We're going to let the goalie see the shot if we can. They're going to give up more shots this year. This is not, I mean, even going back 2 years when the Flyers were like the best shot prevention team in hockey, at least in terms of shots on goal, that's gone. They're going to give up shots, but their whole thing under Tocchet is going to be, look, you can shoot the puck from the point, you can shoot the puck from the sides of the, or along the boards as much as you want. Even the game-winning goal was a shot from the side. So you can do that, but if we're playing the right way, we're not going to give you a ton of those high danger chances, a ton of those cross slot chances, in the slot, around the net. And I thought the Flyers overall 5-on-5 did a good job of that. As I said, the game winning goal ultimately is a shot from the boards, a little bit of a fluky play, but it's not like they lost this game on a 3-on-1 or a backdoor goal. I think those are going to be harder to come by, and you could see in the way they played in the defensive zone, not as much of an emphasis on shot blocking over everything and much more of we'll give you the outside, but if you try to get into the interior, that's when we're going to make it tough on you. And I like that. I like to see that.
I like it as well, but it also requires confidence in the goalie to make the routine saves. Dan Vladar, we started the show saying, hey, I did see a bright spot tonight. It was in between the pipes. What did you think of Vladar in his debut?
Yeah, I liked his game. Look, that the game-winning goal is a tough one.
Rough.
It's one of those distance shots. It's from the perimeter. I asked Vladar after the game, were you screened? Was that what happened there? And he basically said, look, I don't really want to comment on it. Sergei Bobrovsky made one more save than me. Simple as that. I need to be better. And that's probably the right answer to give, because even if he was screened as a goalie and as a competitor, he's going to think he should have made the save anyway. And you know what? I respect that. I do. Other than that one goal, though, I thought he was great. I thought in the first period he was great, given the amount of penalties they took. The fact that the Panthers only scored one power play goal, that's a testament to the work that Vladar did. Vladar did really good work on the penalty kill, stopping the Panthers power play on a few quality shots. Look, again, Florida doesn't have Tkachuk. They don't have Barkov. They don't have the firepower that they had last year, even that they will have in a few months when Tkachuk comes back. But they're still a good team. This is still a team with a lot of high-end players. This is still a team with Sam Reiner. They have Sam Bennett. They have Brad Marchand, who was very Brad Marchand-ish in this game. Like
everywhere.
He looked like he was 27 years old again. It was kind of wild. They have a lot of really good players, and I thought Vladar was seeing the puck well. The Flyers did a good job not making him work through too many screens, but when there were screens, I thought he did a good job, generally speaking, of fighting through them. And he's real big out there without looking awkward in the way that Fedotov did. And that's, I'm not saying that it's like, oh my God, Vladar was incredible, but he was good. He was good, even counting for that game-winning goal.
Good is such an upgrade from most of what we saw from goaltending last season. What did you make of the decision to go with Vladar in game one? Because you and I went back and forth on like, yeah, it seems like they still think Ersson is the guy. Now, he didn't. It's not like he blew the doors off. I think he was better than Ersson in the preseason, but it's not as if, oh, he had 3 shutouts. It had to be Vladar. What did you think of the decision?
Yeah, I was surprised. And I got the sense that Ersson was probably a little surprised too. I think the players expected Ersson to play in this game. My guess, I think I have 2 possible explanations. And you know me, Bill, I tend to, when choosing between 2 explanations, I'm going to go with the simpler one. So I'm more likely to believe it was number 2 versus number 1. Number 1 explanation, Dan Vladar last year in Calgary was used, because he obviously was in a tandem. He ended up being the backup to Dustin Wolf, but he was used in a lot of the toughest games. They kind of shielded Wolf from the really tough games. They had Vladar playing against, top teams, a lot of road games, whereas they gave Dustin Wolf like, oh, we're playing the Sharks. You get them, Dustin. And Dan, you're not getting the Sharks and the Ducks. So I do wonder if maybe it was a little bit of that, like, well, they're the defending champs. Maybe we give Vladar this game so that Sam doesn't have to play it. There's that. They'll never admit that, but maybe that's part of the thinking, given that Vladar did it last year. The second explanation, and as I said, Occam's razor, simplest explanation, usually the best. I just think they thought that Vladar had a better camp in preseason, and they thought he deserved it. Like, and I don't think they're wrong. I think I went into camp figuring that, like, Vladar had to significantly beat out Ersson to get the game one start. And I think that's probably what most people thought too, like even people on the team. But if they just looked at it as, hey, it's an open competition and we're going with the goalie who was better in preseason, even though neither of their numbers look great, I thought Vladar was better by the eye test in the games he played. And maybe it's just that simple. Maybe they just figure, well, we want to win a game, and we think Dan Vladar is sharper right now, and he gives us a better chance to win a game. And honestly, given his performance, they might not have been wrong.
Chuck, I want to shift to the offense. 35 minutes into this game, the Flyers were sitting on 9 shots. They end with 20. They had a couple swings of momentum where they were a little bit dangerous, but overall, didn't seem like they created a ton. How much do you chalk that up to lack of chemistry, maybe not a ton of talent up front still, maybe less than we thought? And how much is it? It's like, it's the freaking Panthers, man.
Yeah, the Panthers are obviously a really good defensive team. They're a tight checking team. They play hard. They play physical. They're a tough club to score on. They are. We saw it in the playoffs. We saw it all last season. And they don't have Barkov. They don't have the Selke, the Selke Trophy winner. But they still have a lot of really good two-way players. They have a strong, deep defense. So that's probably part of it. I do think, though, watching what the Cates line was able to do, because they were consistently dangerous. They were consistently buzzing and creating quality chances. It's not like Florida is untouchable. It's not like you can't dent them, because the Cates line showed you could. It's just that I don't think these other lines, either they're just not going to work, or they're not yet at the point where they can do some of the things that the Cates line can. Maybe that'll come with time. Maybe there's something there. I did think that, and Travis Sanheim actually pointed out after the game, he's probably the only one who maybe could have, because he's best buddies with Konechny, but he's like, really would have been nice if TK would have buried that one. I did think that the Konechny Zegras Tippett line was looking better in the third period. Although that's when it finally started to produce something. Zegras was finally getting some nice passes through. First 2 periods, they were essentially invisible.
Oh my God, yeah. But
maybe they were starting to build something in the third. Maybe it's something they can carry over to Carolina, because in this game, it was basically the Noah Cates, Bobby Brink, Tyson Foerster show, and none of the other forward lines could do much of anything in terms of sustained offense.
It was Owen Tippett that missed the open net towards the end of the game, wasn't it? I think it was.
Towards the end of the game? Well, Konechny was
the
one.
Konechny, yeah.
Konechny was the one who put the shot into the side of the net after the nice passing play. That was TK.
All right. Kelly, did you have a question about time on ice that you wanted to piss Charlie off with?
I was going to annoy Charlie by asking about time on ice tonight. But then I looked, and everyone's time on ice was kind of even, which I thought was interesting. That there wasn't really anybody that got a ton more time than anybody else, except for, of course, Travis Sanheim, who's obviously going to play half of every single hockey game for the entire season.
Yeah, and he's going to get more minutes now as Cam York's out of the lineup, especially, and Ristolainen, to be fair.
Was there anybody, Charlie, that what you found, I don't know, especially disappointing one game in?
Especially disappointing. I mean, I don't know if there was anybody that jumped out. I mean, look, obviously the back half of the decor is not going to be terribly impressive, but we knew that going in. Zamula made some mistakes. Juleson was Juleson. Yinning had some nice defensive plays, but also had some bad defensive plays. I think he was kind of hot and cold, good shifts and bad shifts. But look, we knew that. We knew that with York out and with Ristolainen out, this defense is going to struggle, and maybe not even struggle, but just it's going to have a tough time. It might not be pretty for the first part of the year, but in the end, they did only give up 2 goals to a team that won the Stanley Cup last year. So despite the fact that it wasn't always pretty, I thought the team defense overall was pretty good. So there's nobody that I really come out of this game thinking I'm disappointed. I will say that I was disappointed in how invisible Zegras looked in the first 2 periods, and then I thought in the third he started to pop. So hopefully he's starting to find his game.
Charlie, speaking of that defense, you tweeted earlier, we had a question like, oh, we're not sure if you can backdate the IR or if certainly Cam York is going to have to miss not only the first couple of road games, but Monday as well. It looks like they're going to be able to backdate it, and he'll be eligible to come off IR for the home opener. Do you have any indication that he will be cleared to come off IR, or is that just something you don't know yet?
Yeah, I was able to get confirmation before puck drop that they can backdate it to Sunday. So the 7 days can be Sunday to Saturday, essentially. My understanding is that they are hoping that he can be back for Monday's home opener. It's far from a certainty. Obviously, it's the beginning of the year, so they're going to take it easy on a guy who they expect to lean on all season. You don't want to rush a guy back from injury and then have him re-injure whatever it is and then be out a month rather than 4 games. But my impression is that it's a real possibility he could be back on Monday and could just miss the 2 games. But again, far from a certainty. It's all going to come down to how he responds to treatment and how he feels when he gets back on the ice for the first time.
All right, Charlie, you know what time it is. It's time for the Ashley Furniture 3 stars of the game. Charlie O'Connor gives us 3 stars every single game. And now it is your time to shine, my friend. Who was star number 3?
Yeah, I went back and forth on this one. And do you want me to do just Flyers stars, or do you want me to do Florida Panthers too?
Do whatever the hell you want.
Your stars, okay. Charlie.
I'm just going to go with Flyers stars, to be honest with you, because that's what I do in my article. I do 3 Flyers stars of the game. I went back and forth for number 3 between Travis Sanheim and Bobby Brink. I think I'm going to go with Travis Sanheim, even though I think Bobby Brink had a really strong game. I think he was fantastic on that line. He didn't get a point on the Noah Cates goal, but he did so many good things that I really wanted to put him as the number 3 star. But the fact of the matter is Travis Sanheim was a horse back there all night, plays over 27 minutes, really didn't make many mistakes. There was one play where he had a guy literally like hanging off of his back, and that guy was pumping his legs trying to catch up. And Sanheim just kind of does 2 glide strides and stays ahead of him. And this is playing half the game. You know, he's still able to do that. Travis Sanheim's just a really good defenseman. I think he gets a little too much hate in certain circles, but he's a really good defenseman. He carried the load in this game, given the fact that York was out, given the fact that Ristolainen was out. He may have to keep doing that, at least for however long Cam York is out. And I think he showed tonight that even against the defending Cup champs, he can carry that load and he can do a darn good job of it. So Travis Sanheim, star number 3.
All right, Travis Sanheim, number 3. Who is star number 2?
Yeah, star number 2 is Vladar. He was my number 1 star through pretty much the entire game until the game-winning goal, and that bumps him down. But I thought overall, really strong game for Vladar when he makes 32 saves on 34 shots, I believe. So strong all-around game for Vladar. Look, it wasn't perfect. I know why he's being hard on himself for that final goal, but this game could have been a 4-1 loss easily if he doesn't make the big saves he makes throughout the rest of the game. The decision to go with him over Ersson, I think, is a little controversial, especially because Ersson is the more established guy in that room and Vladar is kind of the new guy. But if anybody was skeptical of the decision, I think Vladar proved with his play that at the very least it wasn't a bad decision, and there's a good chance it was the right decision. Dan Vladar, strong all-around Flyers debut, 2nd star of the game.
I personally love the decision because, I have my thoughts about Sam Ersson, but also give me some controversy. I thought when we lost Tortorella, we were going to lose all controversy. Not quite, at least after 1 game. And speaking of 1, who is tonight's first star?
Yeah, this is Noah Cates. I thought he was not only because he scores the goal, but he was just the most consistently impactful player on the ice in terms of skaters. Maybe even the most consistently impactful player on both teams, because he was making things happen. He was driving that line. Obviously, he scores the goal, but he also had that really nice move. I believe he went around Marchand on the play and then rings it off the post, nearly scores with time running down to the 3rd. I mean, he was creating chances. I wouldn't say he necessarily looked faster than he did last year, but he definitely looked more assertive. Like a little bit more
word.
Like I want to do things with the puck rather than just playing the support role and letting the other guys do it. It just seemed like he had a little bit more confidence that he could be the guy who takes control of the offense rather than just facilitating. And that's exciting. Look, it might just be a 1-game thing where 1 game in 82 games, he very well could settle back into, being the 30, 35 point a year, great 3rd line center, defensively oriented guy. But the guy who showed up tonight, I mean, I had a conversation with Jason Martinez during a preseason game, and he was like, "I think there's more offense in Noah Cates. I think he could score, a lot more than you think." And tonight he looked like a guy who might prove Jason right. So Noah Cates, easy first Flyers star of the game for me on this one.
And Charlie, little underrated part of his game, something we've had questions about. 9 out of 15, 60% on faceoffs, 4 of his 6 losses in the neutral zone. That's pretty impressive. I will absolutely give him credit for that. Those are Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game, brought to you by our friends at PHLY Furniture. Any other news or notes before you get out of here, Chuck?
Nothing really. I can confirm, as I was walking through the area outside the locker room, I did see Rasmus Ristolainen. He alive.
Lives?
He went on the trip. He's there. So for all of you people that think he's just on Ellis Island, Rasmus Ristolainen is here. He's obviously not going to play. Don't expect him to show up for the game in Raleigh on Saturday, but he's on the trip and he's still alive. So for people who think that he's just disappeared, I can confirm Rasmus Ristolainen still on the Philadelphia Flyers.
Was he in a walking boot?
He was not.
Okay.
All right, that is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor, joining us from Sunrise, Florida. Charlie, enjoy the Carolina leg of this trip. I hope you get a chance to hit Miami Beach before you get the hell out of there. You always say you never make it to Miami. I'm hoping tonight is the night.
Yeah, I definitely will not. I will be up writing, and then I will be going to sleep because I have a 9 a.m. flight out of Miami, actually. So that's about an hour from Fort Lauderdale. So I'm going to have to get up real early. So no time out tonight for me. I will be working and then sleep.
Charlie.
All right, go Birds, bud. Thank you for joining us.
Go Birds.
All right, and with that, it is time. We're going to talk more about the Cates line. We have lots of stuff still to get to on postgame, but we have to take our first commercial break.
Let's go.
All right, it's time to tell you about our friends at PHLY Furniture, because not only do they sponsor the 3 stars of the game, but they want to let you know that holiday steals are here at PHLY. It's the perfect time to get your home ready for the season and to save big. From stunning dining sets for all your holiday feasts to super cozy sectionals perfect for movie nights, they have everything you need to make this season magical. And the more you shop, the more you save with PHLY. You can get up to 25% off store-wide or take advantage of their special financing with 5 years of no interest. Discover great deals in-store and online only at PHLY. And while we're here, we're going to need a few tonight. It's about crooked tees, because if you remember when BG strip sacked the GOAT for the first Philly Super Bowl ever, well, now you can savor that flavor forever with BG, because he's bringing us crooked tee strip sack packs. That's right. What is the strip sack pack? Well, it's big, it's heavy, and it's juicy, and it's the kind of pack you want to show off. You already know Crooked Tea, 0 sugar and all flavor, and the strip sack pack is stuffed with 24 cans plus collectible trading cards by Jordan Spector, so every pack is filled with heat. Every case is amazing, from the fridge to the tailgate. This is the one sack you're going to be proud to display, so grab yours today at a store near you or get them on GoPuff. And for our guy BG, we have to send a special shout out to the Philly area bars still already carrying Crooked Tea. Thank you for showing your love. Sport and Social Allentown, Garage Fishtown, City Tap in Logan Square, and Wicked Wolf on Chestnut. Go check them out for game day or a night out and tell them that PHLY Sports sent you. All right, let's get back to tonight's game, because I do want to point out that that line in particular, the Noah Cates, Tyson Foerster, and Bobby Brink line, while the other 3 really struggled to show any sort of chemistry or be dangerous at all, man, they're picking up right where they left off, Hinkle. They looked great. Noah Cates gets the goal, jamming home a rebound off of a Tyson Foerster shot. And yeah, I think we just kind of have to call him our first line until someone else steps up.
And is that really so bad? Honestly, like, they're the best line, so they get to be the first line. One thing that kind of, and I know this is incredibly silly, one of the things that kind of bums me out a little bit is that, like, you obviously the other 3 lines need a little bit of work. They weren't great. So So you're going to see some shuffling around. But obviously, you're not going to touch this line, which means that I'm not going to get my dream of seeing Tyson Foerster with Matvei Michkov anytime soon because you can't break up that third line. Well, the first line, 1C Noah Cates. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag just because, like, obviously those three guys do great work on the ice, but they're not Travis Konechny. They are not Matvei Michkov. They are not Trevor Zegras. Like, these are the guys that you want to see getting it done. And if keeping that line together and not kind of mixing things up all over the lineup doesn't match, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Again, it's one game and it's kind of a silly thing to be talking about right now.
No, it's hard not to think, like, what if we could put a Dvorak or even a Tippett on that line? Would they lose the thing that they have? Like, we know Dvorak, you can get into the forecheck, do some dirty work, make up for some of the defensive prowess you lose in Tyson Foerster. But it just feels like if we are going to create a dangerous line with maybe at some point Zegras and Michkov, which I want to see. I know it's maybe not the most defensively responsible, but that's the only spot I think you can put Tyson Foerster in. But do you weaken one thing to see if another will work? Yeah. The one thing I'll say is, after all this time together, they got put together in like December of last year. They seem to have not missed a step to start this season. You can always go back to it. It's not as if you can't go back to this thing, because they have logged some miles together. But it is something I find myself thinking about throughout the game. Like, man, what if Mish was out there with not Dvorak and Coots, you know?
Yeah. And someone in the chat actually just made an interesting point that maybe this lineup is going to change kind of dramatically because we're not going to do we have to get the respected veterans into the lineup thing that you have to do for the first game. So, like, I would hope that you're not going to see Delorier next game. I don't know about, I mean, I understand the thought process behind Dvorak on the top line. Not really what I want to see for the length of the season.
It's just one of those, like, the thing we liked about Coots with Michkov is, one, TK's already out there.
Yeah.
But at least Coots can, like, think the game. They're not the same, but they think the game at least on a high level, so they can kind of take advantage of each other. With Dvorak and Coots, it's like, now it's just two guys who aren't all that creative.
Right.
Like, that's what it comes down to. And with Mish, listen, he had the 2 shots on goal. Only a couple guys had more than him on the Flyers. Only one guy had more. He and Foerster both had 2. Cates had 3. But this was Mishkov's, I thought, least impressive, like, standout.
Yeah.
He looked kind of just like another guy out there.
Yeah.
In a way that we really haven't seen, except for that little lull in the middle of last season.
Yeah, you're right. Like, you expect to notice Matvei Michkov every single time he steps onto the ice. And this was kind of just like an average game for him. Like you said, he just kind of looked like a guy, like a cromulent hockey player. And that's obviously not what you want from the guy that you're pinning all of your hopes and dreams on. Like, we need Michkov to be electric way more nights than he's not. So
yes.
Whatever was going on tonight, whether it was the line or, just, I don't know, game 1.
Florida's real good.
You can't really forget that part of it. I was hoping to see more from him, because you kind of want to see a guy like that come out of the gate just like on fire, and he didn't.
Yeah, and listen, he could have a hat trick on Saturday, and we forget all about this. It's Matvei Michkov.
Right.
We have learned, like, this dude's awesome. We know that already. But I was just kind of hoping for a little bit more Mish magic to start the year. I want to talk about his skill counterpart, Trevor Zegras, on the other side, and what we made of his Flyers debut. But I got to get this show back on time. Of course, the night we have all these breaks, we get Charlie like 15 minutes into the show. We usually have to wait 40 minutes for him. But I got to throw it to our next break. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Listen, our Michkov anytime goal did not come through with Bet365 today, but we did get those over 1.5 shots from Tyson Foerster. I will take 1 out of 2 to start the season, absolutely. And if you have action going in the NHL, you gotta get on Bet365 because of the 90 million users worldwide, because of the 780,000 live stream events each year, and because of those early payouts. As soon as your team goes up 3 goals in a game, you're already a winner. You don't have to sweat the ending. You pay out early if you have that team on the money line or if they are part of your parlay. And right now we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets, New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, total, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And tonight was the perfect night. If you didn't have Xfinity tonight, you had a hard time. I am going to guess if you are a Philly sports fan, you had a rough time, because if you were torn between games, well, Xfinity members did not have that problem. All they had to do was say multi-view into their Xfinity remote, and they catch all the action, one screen, every team, all your Philly sports in one place. Finally made super easy with Xfinity Multiview. Restrictions apply. Multiview requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. Yeah, tonight was an ultimate night, and if you didn't have Xfinity, you were really missing out. All right, let's talk about Trevor Zegras making his Flyers debut tonight. Ultimately, Zegras, what did he end up playing? Where'd you go, Trevor? There he is. Plays 1557, does not record a shot on goal, ends up with, come on, computer, stop screwing with me. There we go. Ends up 42.9% in the faceoff dot. Did help create that great chance for TK, where he just kind of ran out of room, had Bob beat, but ran out of room, hit the side of the net. Was hoping for a little bit more from Trevor Zegras as well, just hoping he would stand out. Once again, yeah, Florida, awesome, especially defensively. They shut it down. But those are the teams you're going to have to beat.
Yeah, he's another guy that you were, just kind of hoping to look like more than Noah Cates. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted Trevor Zegras to be more noticeable and exciting than Noah Cates, which I don't think is a super high bar. But again, like I really want to stop myself from making like broad sweeping judgments after one game.
Yeah, of course.
Saturday could be completely different, but you were kind of just hoping, I think, that this game set the tone, like for starting things off. And while Florida is very good and the Flyers did an admirable job not getting blown out by them, I would have just liked to see a little bit more from the guys that are supposed to be the fun ones.
Yeah. And speaking of the guys who are supposed to be the fun ones, let us not forget Owen Tippett. Played 14-22 tonight, 1 shot on goal. I must have been watching the Phillies when that happened. I needed Tippett to be shot-generating machine again. And listen, they only had 20 for the game. We cannot forget that this is the Florida Panthers. It is game 1 of a new coach, new system, trying new line mates, all sorts of different things. Like you said, not making sweeping generalizations about the next 81 games because of the first one, but 14-22, 1 shot. I need a whole lot more out of Owen Tippett if he is going to remain a part of what I believe the future of this team is.
And the thing about Tippett is, and I don't even know if this is a thing that he knows, but like this is kind of like a prove it season for him. Like, obviously he already has the giant contract, but like, if you don't want me to hate you for the length of this contract, like, this is the year that you need to start turning it around. And 1 shot on goal in a game not going to do it. Also, like, he's another one that just didn't stand out. You know what I mean? Like, he just wasn't noticeable, really.
There was like one play where he orchestrated a breakout with his speed, but another one where I think he's one-on-one coming down the right wing with Forsling, and he just kind of like, I can't beat him, and gets the puck deep. And it's like, maybe you can't, but use your speed, try to like get the puck behind him and blow by him and force an interference call or something. Like, chances are Forsling knocks it down and clears it and it goes the other way. But I want Owen Tippett trying stuff against really good defensemen. The one shot on goal, he has that in common with Nick Delorier, Garnet Hathaway, and Rodrigo Abels tonight. All had one shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be better than that, bud.
It's not enough. And listen, I don't like when we single out one guy on a night where they have 20, they score one goal. It's like, all right, maybe you're being unfair, but these are the things I'm looking for from this guy. I'm looking for him to be a difference maker. And tonight he was just another dude out there for his 14 minutes and 22 seconds of ice time. Let's talk about this fourth line, Kelly Hinkle. They are the only line as a whole that was a minus. Rodrigo Abels, Garnet Hathaway, and Nick Delorier, all a -1. They got about 7.5 minutes together. I don't think they were terrible. I did see a shift or two where they were in the offensive zone. But this is the Nick Delorier conundrum for me.
Yeah.
In a game against the Panthers where you know it's going to be physical, you're going to want to match that. I kind of want Hathaway. I'm not saying Hathaway needs to play 15 minutes. That's insane. But it would be nice to have him on a regular line, taking a regular shift, at least for parts of the game, so he can impose his will a little bit. And he's a little hamstrung by a line that maybe you don't trust a ton with, a quad A guy in Abels who had a good camp, but I don't know if it's like, oh, got to get him out there. And Nick Delorier, who's a specialist.
Yeah, and so we talked a lot during the preseason about how the Flyers seem to have the personnel to ice a fourth line that's an actual scoring threat. Like, if this is a line of Hathaway, Luchenko, and Grabenkin, they're probably playing more than 7 minutes, and they're probably generating some stuff. And it's just, again, I understand we're playing Nick Delorier because it's the Panthers. We're playing Nick Delorier because everyone loves him and it's the first game. All right, whatever. Moving forward, I would like to see them maybe try to make the fourth line into something more than dudes who just skate around long enough for the other lines to catch their breath.
Yeah, I want to see Luchenko, Grabenkin, and Hathaway. Yeah. I think with Grabenkin and especially Hathaway, you have plenty of protection out there for the 19-year-old. You're not going to overload him with responsibility or ice time or anything, but it's a good enough line that you will see, all right, does Luchenko actually deserve to be here? Yes. Can he keep his head above water? Can he be a part of at least a line that we run on a nightly basis? And I just hope that is the case on Saturday and moving forward.
I hope so too. It'll be a lot of fun to see Luchenko play against the Canes, honestly. I would really like to see that, so I hope we get to.
So that's it, I think, for the forwards. I want to talk a little about the defense before we take this last break. Sanheim, 31 shifts, 27 minutes and 15 seconds on the ice. They're
going to kill him.
Man, he needs Cam. They just need Cam York and Rasmus Ristolainen if they are going to ice a viable defense. But as Charlie said, listen, I don't think they got shredded tonight.
No.
If not for the penalties, I bet you the shots are a little bit closer. That seemed to swing momentum.
I think so,
for long stretches of the game, especially in the first half. But 27 minutes and 15 seconds in the opener is a ton in a regulation game. Didn't go to OT, and he's playing almost half the game. We've come to expect that, but I don't know. It doesn't seem necessary all the time. Outside of Sanheim, I can't say anyone really stood out. I thought Yegor Zamula in his under 15 minutes. He's credited with 2 giveaways. Those must have been the 2 perfect tape-to-tape passes that he sent onto a Florida Panthers stick that I saw. Like, I wasn't impressed with him. Juleson registers 2 hits. Okay,
Cool.
Sure. That's what he's out there to do.
Yeah.
Yinning, like Charlie said, hot and cold. He had like 1 bad giveaway play where I was like, what the hell's he doing? But other than that, I don't think he was like particularly terrible. It's a work in progress. This is a patchwork defense until they get something else figured out.
Yeah, there weren't any abject disasters, which there very easily could have been. Juleson, I don't know if maybe they need to break the 2 of them. Like, I don't even know what you do with them though. But they were not good. They were clearly the worst pairing. They are probably just lucky that they didn't have any huge embarrassing failures tonight, because I feel like if you keep them together for any length of time, eventually you're going to have some ugly stuff happening. But again, what do you do with the personnel that you have, especially if you have decided, which apparently this organization has, that Emil Andre is not an NHL defenseman? Like, there's nothing else you can do, I guess. I don't think Dennis Gilbert is going to fix anything, so there's no sense in rotating him in. Like, I don't know what that does. But yeah, Travis Sanheim can't play 27 minutes a night. They're going to kill him. He wants to play for Team Canada. Like, could we not break him like 3 weeks into the season? It just seems like a lot.
It just seems unnecessary. Like, we know he can do it, and he's done well in these
Maybe
minutes.
Save it for when you really need him to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like, but why not load up Jamie Drysdale and see if he can do it or something? You know, like, let's spread it out a little more evenly. It's not as if Drysdale was short on ice time tonight, almost 23 minutes, but Sealer over 21, everyone else 17, 20 and lower. Yeah. Let's even it out a little and see if somebody can maybe stand out. But of course, it's a meritocracy. All right, we're going to talk about the turning point of the game and take your super chats on the other side. But right now, I've got to tell you about Ace Hardware. When the weather turns chilly, the last thing you need is another home project piling up. And that's where Ace Hardware Home Services comes in, because Ace Hardware Home Services brings trusted local pros right to your door to help you get your home ready for the colder months. From heating tune-ups and plumbing fixes to generators and emergency repairs, their experts handle it all. There's no guesswork, no stress, just a local pro to get the job done right, and satisfaction is always guaranteed. It's super easy to find help on your next home project. All you got to do, go to acehardwarehomeservices.com. While we're here, I got to tell you about the Philly Sports Trips trip to Anaheim. That's right. PHLY and Philly Sports Trips teaming up for yet another amazing event. They helped us out with the draft party. It was our best draft party ever. They sent us to Montreal last year. It was an amazing trip. We are going even harder in March. We're going out to Anaheim March 17th to the 22nd. I'm going. Charlie's going. Kelly's going. Bryn is going. And John LeClaire is going. We're going to see the Flyers against the Ducks in Anaheim. We're going to see the Flyers against the Kings in LA. There's going to be there's going to be a watch party for the Sharks game as well. You are not going to want to miss this. Go to allphly.com/events. Get your deposit down. It's 3 simple payments after that. Philly Sports Trips. Nobody does it better. You are going to want to be a part of this. And help us let Cutter know we still haven't forgotten. allphly.com/events. Philly Sports Trips. Check it out. All right, Kelly. Let us talk about the turning point of the game, because I thought throughout it was like, all right, it's going to be the penalties. They've taken too many. They've been on defense too long.
Right.
And then there was the killing the Dvorak penalty after they give up the power play goal. Mm-hmm. It's like, all right, if this turns 2-0, it's pretty much over because they've mustered no offense. They kill that one, but it took a little while for them to get going. I think the turning point was truly TK running out of room on the side of the net. If he buries that, it's a tie game. It's a totally different game. There's no end of, all right, 2 minutes left, let's pull Vladar. Suddenly we've taken another penalty. Now we have no chance. I really think it was TK not burying that for his first of the year, and his goal-scoring woes kind of continuing. That is the turning point of the game.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. I mean, that was like a perfect opportunity for a goal scorer to score a goal. And those are the spots that we need guys like Travis Konechny to do the thing. Like, obviously, you're not going to do it 100% of the time, but you are meant to be essentially the most valuable player on this hockey team. Like, you need to bury those chances when you get them. And hopefully, more often than not, he's going to. But like you said, last season, he fell off big time. And we're one game in and he hadn't picked it up. So I guess we'll see what happens.
All right. Before we get to Super Chats, I do have to remind everybody that since a Philly team season came to an end tonight with the Phillies falling to the Dodgers, I have to shout out my best friend Frankie, and we have to continue our tradition of saluting the next season. So, go Birds, go Flyers. Let's hit those Super Chats.
I love you too. You're the cutest, you and Frankie.
Yeah, we're grown-ups. Oh my God, that was bourbon.
Oh boy.
All right, from JH. Good to hear from you, JH. What's going on tonight? So glad hockey is back. At least they didn't collapse as hard as the Phils did this year and the last year and the year before that.
God, his controller disconnected, that poor guy. I don't know what happened to him.
I don't understand. I was like, I came in because we had to come in to do post game.
Yeah.
And like I'm watching the ultimate PHLY watch along sports night, and they're all reacting. Like, just throw it to first. What are you doing? And I was like, what the hell happened? And Brenna's like, she's got the TV on behind her as we're getting all set up. And I'm just like, honestly, I don't even want to watch the replay. Ultimately, I saw it on freaking Twitter, and it just ruined my night, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But it is it's a blessing and a curse to have a team with championship or bust potential because, listen, I would kill for a heartbreaking Flyers loss. Quite honestly,
the Flyers can't hurt us like that.
Like, I would kill for a heartbreaking Flyers loss. It's been so long since they've even had the ability to hurt me.
I know.
And to do so, they'd have to like be really good so that I could feel the pain. But man, sports pain it hits different, and that's a thing in this town. It seems to never end. Thank God we have the Eagles. No idea what's going on in that game. It's probably a disaster too. Not a great night. Kelly's shaking her head. It doesn't sound like it's going well. All right, let's hit this next super chat from Gary B. What's up, Gary? Says, Katie getting a goal. Heck yeah. Sad how the Phillies went down, but stoked my favorite sport and team is back. And that's really what matters is deep down, especially if you're watching this freaking show on this night, it's hockey, baby. That's what we love. We are Flyers fans. We are hockey fans, and it's back. And they lose tonight. They lose to the defending champs. It would have been cool if Michkov scored. Would have been nice if Zegras, had a Michigan hat trick or something. But the simple fact that the orange and black are back is very, very nice.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter what happens because all of us are going to have fun.
It's all about the friends you make along the way. At least that's what I've been telling myself for the last decade, Hinkle, because it certainly is about wins and losses on the ice. Maybe one day it will be. All right, next one here is from Aviator. I hope Michkov doesn't have to carry Coots like an anchor again this year. I really can't do 82 games of this. I won't renew my season tickets next year.
I don't think Coots was an anchor.
It works with Coots if you have another winger. If it's Coots and Dvorak, now there's no creativity.
No.
And that can't continue. It worked with TK last year. I think if you had Zegras and Dvorak or Zegras and Foerster, it could work. But he needs another creative person to work with. I 100% agree with that. And as I am agreeing with it, we're heading to overtime so we can finish up these super chats. Go to allphly.com to finish watching the show if you're part of the TV audience. All right, I think we have one or two more. This first one from Zerpix. Thought we got rid of Lawton, but I guess it's a Flyers thing to play a 4C on the first line. Listen, Couturier isn't what he was.
I think he's talking about Dvorak, honestly.
I guess. I mean, like, you do need a Lawton. Like, a Lawton is a very useful player. It's just like you hope to have 6 or 7 guys considerably better.
Right.
All I will say is, listen, I'm not going to, especially tonight when God knows what's happening with the Eagles and we're all heartbroken over the Phils and the Flyers lose, they're 0-1. There are
they might never win again, Bill.
They haven't yet. Who's to say they will?
Exactly.
Not going to argue with anyone about their being downtrodden, but I'll say it's a long season. That's what it'll come down to. The good players will shine if given the opportunity. All right, another one here from the one I can't say. W Boro goal, I think.
That's right.
Is it like Westburt? Like, is it like I don't know. Anyway, cheers to another season of post games, you sickos.
Yes,
absolutely. I'll drink to that once again. Another year. Oh, I didn't actually.
You got it. Yeah.
Here we go. It's bad luck to not actually take a sip. I couldn't be doing this without everyone watching. We have 209 people watching live at almost 11 p.m. on a school night, with other games having happened or happening currently. And I very much appreciate every single one of you wackos, because, dear Lord, I can't have a real job. And honestly, you want to keep watching because you don't want me having a real job. If I have to prepare your food again, you're all in danger. So let's keep the world safer and keep supporting PHLY Flyers and keep me employed here. And maybe watch Philadelphia 1:30 p.m. Monday to Friday right here on the PHLY YouTube as well. It'd be nice. It would be cool if I could build an audience half as good as this one for Philadelphia as well. All right, do we have any more, Brenna? We have another one. Mellerman. Good to hear from Mellerman. I love hockey, everyone. Thanks for being a fun place to share that devotion. That's what we're here for.
Thanks for hanging with us.
That's what we're here for, Kelly. That is, I mean, I've known you for 10 years. I don't know if we've ever talked about anything but hockey. It's what joins us all. We have
90s comedies.
Yeah, 90s. Yeah, Kevin Smith movies.
Right.
Anything 90s, that absolutely. But like, this is the thing that joins us all together, is that love of hockey. So I greatly appreciate anyone who joins us. And I think that's it. Yes. So that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers Postgame, presented by Bet365 and Crooked T. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. Hit the reminder bell so you always know when we go live. Game days, we have pre and post game every other day of the week. 4 p.m. You know the schedule. We're off tomorrow because there's a game on Saturday. I hope you all enjoy that. Follow us on all the socials. We're at PHLY_Flyers on Twitter. And follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. That's it. I am Bill Matz. That is Kelly. That is Kelly. There we go. That is Kelly Hinkle. Thank you to Brenna for producing. Till next time, be excellent to each other.
We all see